At 72, a retired nurse who raised her daughter and son single-handedly after her husband's early death learns she is about to become a grandmother for the first time. Her daughter promises she'll be heavily involved and let her help raise the baby. Months pass with no invitation to the baby shower, no calls about the birth, and excuses about being too busy. When the daughter finally visits, it's only to ask for money to cover IVF debts from before the pregnancy. Discovering hidden messages where the children refer to her as the free babysitter fund, she quietly
Grandma and Grandpa, Michael's parents. I searched Daniel's profile next. He and Claire had just returned from Italy. Photos of gelato, the Colosseum, their twins eating pasta. Caption: grateful for the memories and for Mom watching the boys so we could recharge. I hadn't watched the boys since Christmas 2 years ago. My hands trembled as I kept scrolling. Then I found it. A screenshot someone had posted in a comments thread accidentally left public. A group chat named The Hayes Kids. Sarah: asked Mom for $5K. She's hemming and hawing as usual. Daniel: tell her it's for Lily's college fund or something. She eats that up. Sarah: already tried the weird struggling card. She said she's on fixed income, LOL. Like we believe that. She's sitting on that paid-off house. Daniel: free babysitter fund is running dry. Time to turn up the guilt. There were laughing emojis. Dozens of them. I sat in the dark for a long time. The only sound was the tick of the wall clock Robert had hung 40 years ago. I felt something crack inside me. Not loudly, not dramatically, just a quiet, final snap. The next morning, I called my old friend Margaret, a retired estate lawyer who lived 2 streets over. We met for coffee at the diner on Maple. I showed her the screenshot. I told her everything. Margaret listened without interrupting. When I finished, she reached across the table and squeezed my hand. Eleanor, she said, you are not obligated to keep funding people who treat you like an ATM. You raised them. You loved them. But love doesn't mean endless sacrifice at the cost of your dignity. She helped me make a plan. First, I opened a new bank account at a different credit union. I transferred what little savings remained, $8,000, and set up direct deposit for my Social Security. The old account I left with just enough to cover utilities and groceries. If they asked again, I could truthfully say I had nothing. Second, I changed my will. Everything, the house, the small investment account Robert left me, the life insurance, would go to St. Mary's Children's Ward, where I'd spent 35 years caring for other people's babies. Margaret added a clause: if either child ever showed genuine remorse and attempted reconciliation without asking for money, a small discretionary fund, 10%, could be released to them, but only after counseling and proof of changed behavior. It was symbolic more than anything. I didn't expect it to happen. Third, I listed the house with a realtor. Not because I hated it, but because every corner reminded me of promises unkept. The spare room with the unused crib, the kitchen where I'd cooked holiday dinners no one attended anymore, the front porch where I once waited with suitcases to fly out and meet new grandchildren. I didn't tell Sarah or Daniel I was moving. I simply stopped answering calls that felt transactional. In December, Sarah texted, "Lily's first Christmas. Want to come over? We miss you." I stared at the message for 20 minutes. Then I typed, "I miss you." I stared at the message for 20 minutes. Then I typed, "I miss the idea of what we could have been, but I can't keep being the backup tan. Enjoy Lily's Christmas. Love, Mom." I blocked her number. Daniel called from Chicago 2 days later. I let it go to voicemail. "Mom, what the hell? Sarah said you're selling the house? Where are you going to live? You can't just disappear. Where are your kids?" I didn't call back. By February, the house sold for $185,000, more than I expected. After paying off the last of my debts and Margaret's modest fee,
I had enough to buy a small one-bedroom condo in a senior community on the Carolina coast. Ocean view from the balcony, walking distance to the beach, a community garden, book club, weekly bingo. No one there knew me as the mother who always gives. They knew me as Eleanor, the new lady who brought homemade shortbread to the welcome potluck. I moved in March. The crib went to a young nurse at the hospital who was expecting her first. I gave her the crocheted blanket, too. "For your little one," I said, "from someone who knows how precious they are." She hugged me and cried. I didn't. My first morning in the new place, I woke to the sound of waves. I made coffee, carried it to the balcony, and sat watching the sunrise over the Atlantic. Pink and gold light spilled across the water. For the first time in decades, no one needed me at that exact moment. No one was waiting for money or favors or guilt trips. Just me, the sea, and the quiet. I started small routines. Morning walks on the beach collecting shells, afternoon reading on the balcony, Tuesday evenings at the community center knitting with women my age who told stories of their own ungrateful children, their own quiet rebellions. We laughed about it sometimes. We cried sometimes. Mostly, we listened. 6 months after I moved, Sarah found my new address. She must have asked the realtor or a neighbor. A letter arrived, handwritten, thick envelope. I opened it on the balcony, with the ocean roaring softly below. Mama, I don't know where to start. Lily is walking now. She says, "Nana," sometimes and points at pictures of you. I cry every time. I didn't realize how much I took you for granted until you were gone. Not just physically gone, emotionally gone. You were always there, and I assumed you always would be. I'm sorry for the baby shower, for not inviting you to hold her first, for asking for money instead of asking how you were, for the group chat. Daniel showed me everything after you left. We were awful, selfish, cruel. I don't expect forgiveness. I just want you to know Lily asks about you, and I tell her stories about the grandma who raised her mommy all by herself, the grandma who worked nights so we could have shoes that fit, the grandma who loved so hard it broke her. If you ever want to meet her, I'll bring her to you. No strings, no requests. Just please don't think we stopped loving you. We just forgot how to show it. Sarah. I read it twice. Then I folded it carefully, placed it in the bottom drawer of my nightstand next to Robert's old watch, and closed the drawer. I didn't write back. Not yet. Maybe someday, when Lily is older and can understand what real love looks like, not the kind that takes, but the kind that gives without keeping score, I'll invite them down for a weekend. I'll show Lily the ocean. I'll let her collect shells with me. I'll tell her stories about her mother as a little girl. But not because I owe them, because I choose to. For now, I choose me. Every